giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Oh, yeah. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Boston Scientific. We're streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. And, of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Come on in. Boom. It's Friday, baby. It's Cowboys Mailbag Friday. Got a lot of questions. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Took a bunch of them. Threw them in a pot. We're going to talk about it. But in the roundup, got another UDFA spotlight that we'll talk about. And we're going to focus and shift. We're staying on the offensive side of the ball, but the offensive line. And we'll talk about year 2 jumps. A lot of the players spoke on Wednesday. A couple of the second-year guys spoke about their year 2 jumps. McCarthy spoke about year 2, year 3 type of jumps last month. And we'll dive into that a little bit prior to getting into the mailbag. So make sure y'all stick around for all of that. Should not be a very long show today. It's Friday. If you ain't got no job, you ain't got nothing to do. No, I'm just playing. It's Friday. And I won't keep you guys too long. You know, get your weekend started a little early. But what's good, Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
What's up with you? What's up with you? How y'all doing? How is everything going? Are you excited for Friday? Some of y'all, yeah. Come on, Grande Poppy. Chill out, man. Chill out. What's good, Tuck? If y'all missed the show yesterday, you know, me and Voch did not purposely wear orange together, okay? And then Brandon from Frankly Football goes on Twitter and he just roasts us, and y'all continue to roast us a whole goddamn day later. You gotta love that show, man. You got to love the show. Yeah, man. How y'all doing? Let me get into this chat here. What's good, Swain? What up with you, man? Alpha Mason, Jose in the building, James, what's goody, Tony, DMV Cowboys, not DMV Fanatic. Talking about Darren. What's up, Darren? Jameson, hope everything could, gets better for you, Jameson. Just found out some more things about you there. Hope all is well. Professor OB47, what up? Iceberg Q, not Slim. Iceberg Slim probably being here a little later. Lamitra, I'm not calling you that, Tom. Won't do it. Can't do it. Toxic Tom. That's what we'll call you. Toxic Tom in the building. Professor O in the building. See, look, Professor O even continuing to slay us. It is what it is, man. But we did not do that on purpose. Y'all know I did the show in the morning, not even thinking about the DeMarvion Overshown show later. So as I'm prepping for the show and I'm watching some more tape and I'm just putting things together, I was like, I hope Voch don't come on here with no orange. As soon as we get into the green room, Voch is in here with orange. And we was like, we ain't changing. We ain't doing nothing. Let's just go, man. And we had a good time with it, man. It was fun. What's good, B47? All right, let's get into this roundup. Come out. We're going to talk about some of these questions in the mailbag. Some questions I purposefully did not include because they're actually going to be full-blown shows. I saw the Camp Battle segment. We're going to do Camp Battle probably next month, maybe in June, because we got to get to mini camp, which we'll do a rookie mini camp battle next week. Then we'll get to camp battles. We got a long way to go before we talk about camp battles. Long way to go. So just hold tight with some of these things. We got to we got to roll a lot of this out slowly because we got a long way until the regular season and preseason and camp and whatnot. So y'all just bear with me, man. With that said, let's do it. I will not say it.
It's time.
Let's go, Pesky.
It's time. It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round them up, boys.
Hey, yo. Y'all cutting up already in there. Let's hit the next undrafted free agent spotlight. I'm having a great time doing these UDFA spotlights, man, because you find out so much about these players outside of just watching them play, right? You kind of put together, well, how can this guy make the team or make the practice squad, or what is he going to have to do to show out, and all those type of things. But in doing some investigation on offensive lineman TJ Bass out of Oregon, he goes 6'4", 320 pounds. I want to say a 2-year starter at Oregon, but his journey was a long journey to get to Oregon, to get to the NFL. Let's put it that way. In 2017, he did something I haven't heard in a long time. Last time I heard this was, I don't even think I was doing anything on air, online. He gray shirted in 2017 due to academics. Gray shirted. When the last time you guys heard about a player the Cowboys had that gray shirt? It may have happened recently. I just don't quite remember it. So then he went on to play 2 years at JUCO because he had to get his academics right. And he impressed enough to earn all league honors. So after he did that, he received a good amount of offers, a lot of Pac-12 offers, a lot of Big 12 offers as well. And he decided to go to Oregon. And at Oregon, he played 21 games at left tackle, 13 games at left guard, but he projects to kick inside to left guard. Funny thing about TJ Bass, before he was a Cowboy, I didn't know that was the player that Nolan Smith was whooping. And all those Nolan Smith highlights against Oregon. Not a great game for TJ Bass, but I mean, the Georgia Bulldogs front is going to do that to a lot of players. Nonetheless, this is a mauler mentality type of dude. And Dane Brugler had this to say overall on TJ Bass. Quote, overall, Bass doesn't have high-level reactive athleticism to easily counter and keep blocks centered, but he gives as good as he gets because of his heavy hands and desire to finish. He projects as a rotational guard in a gap scheme, and he actually graded him 5th and 6th round pick. He gets where he gets because of his heavy hands and desire to finish. That last part right there is what a lot of people are going to love about TJ Bash. Maybe that's what they'll call him. TJ Bass. Last year, we were talking about who's going to be the first camp fight. And we immediately turned to Big Country, Arkansas defensive tackle. Got a feeling TJ Bass could be one of the first camp fights. He's definitely a tenacious finishing type of offensive lineman. To be fair, I want to watch a few more games. I purposely just want, and it probably was a terrible game to watch, but I mean, you really want to measure a guy? Pop on the Georgia film. Pop on the Georgia film. Let's see what you can do against NFL players. But yeah, I agree with the mauler mentality type. I agree with the tenacious finisher, the desire to finish. And that's something that you can root for when you are a late round pick or an undrafted guy. Do you have that toughness? Now, you're going to need more than that to make this team. You're going to need more than that to make it in this league. But much like some of these other positions, if you are going to project to be an inside guy, an interior offensive lineman, you don't have a massive hill to climb. You're talking about TJ Bass essentially competing with Josh Ball, in all honesty. I mean, I'm not looking at TJ Bass to be a starter this year, so I don't really see that happening. But he's going to be pushing the Josh Balls of the world, the Forniaks of the world. These guys aren't guys that are just locked in and ready to go. They've got to fight for their spots too. Now, Edosia, and I don't think he's really got any edge on the 5th round pick, Austin Richards. I think he's going to be here unless he just absolutely bombs, but he's going to be here in general. But he's going to be competing with those bottom of the roster type dudes. Now, when we do these UDFA spotlights, we're not guaranteeing any of these players are making a team. We're highlighting them. We're spotlighting them on purpose, because I see a lot of people. I've noticed this in comments after shows and comments after videos where people just hate when you are spotlighting a player, whether it be talking about the positives of the player or the negatives, and they assume you're putting these guys in a Hall of Fame. Those type of fans, if that's what you're going to do, then you might as well just wait to the regular season. You know, we're going to talk about all these players. All right. That's just what we're going to do. So I'm not saying TJ Bass is going to make the team. I'm not saying he's going to be a starter, but I think he will compete with the bottom roster on the interior, the Forniaks, the Balls of the world, and we'll see where we go from there. Diggs talked to the media a little bit briefly on Wednesday about himself, obviously, in his contract, and that's something maybe we'll get to next week. But he also talked about Deron Bland, and it just got me thinking about the year two guys. But Diggs said he's excited to see where Deron Bland goes in year two. It's a lot in store for him, kind of just the PC media training stuff. It's a lot in store for him. Great kid, talented, and very excited. Can't wait to see what he can show. So nothing big there. But it got me to think about the year two guys and just how much the year two guys played last year. Very big draft and develop team. We completely understand that. And Mike McCarthy often talks about the year two jump for players. He said this last month. I've always felt that the most important that I've felt, the teams that I've coached, are the people that are already here working. It's your second and third year players that will make that jump. Even more so for the players that played a lot of snaps, because something that I think I'm big on here. If you played a lot of snaps as a rookie or as a young player, that following season is big because you've got a ton of experience. You've got a leg up on guys who may have not played at all. Last year, the Cowboys had 6 rookies that played 200 plus snaps. The highest being obviously Tyler Smith. He played over 1,100 snaps. The lowest being Peyton Hendershot. He played 298 snaps. In that middle, you had Deron Bland, who played about 600. We're not including postseason, I don't think. I have to go back and look. But Deron Bland played about 600. Damone Clark played about 4. Sam played about 275. And Jake Ferguson played over 400. Ferguson spoke on Wednesday about his year two jump, his year two improvement. And he said, quote, just maturing, whether it's in between the lines, footwork, or learning the little details of how I can beat other guys, because it's not just going to be one guy. It's going to be a good player every week that I'm going against. He talked about working on his technique. He talked about being a leader. He said, quote, it's fitting into the mold of being the leader of the room, but also showing through my play. And that's where it starts, in between the lines and in my work. These second-year players, Cowboys Nation, are going to be counted on heavily. They're going to be key cogs in this quest for 6. Whether it be, a core starter in a Tyler Smith or a role player in a Sam Williams. They're going to be key in this thing. And it got me to thinking, and it's probably not even a tough question. I probably should rephrase it differently, but I want to see your thoughts here. Who's the most important year two player for the Dallas Cowboys? Who is the most important year two player for the Cowboys? Now, we're talking about of the guys that played a lot last year. The Blands, Clark, Sam, Williams, Ferguson, Hendershot, and Tyler Smith, of course. This is probably a layup. But hey, some people might think other players are more important, and I'm already seeing different answers. So I'm glad I did ask this question and I didn't phrase it the way that might have been a little easier to phrase here, which my answer is going to be the easy one, but it is what it is. Let's see here. Damone Clark, Sam Williams. Well, let's go. That's an interesting one. I was more so talking about the players on the list here, but I can see where Let's Go could be a very important player because of the, swing tackle situation. I think they got a swing tackle if they decide to do it, but hey, that's just me. Sam Williams, Tyler. There we go. So that was really a layup to me. I 100% think it's that guy. And that's why today we usually do a Hattie B's hot take. This is a Hattie B's not hot take, presented by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. No conversation about the best Nashville style hot chicken is complete without a serious mention of Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Founded in 2012 in Nashville, they're nationally known for their authentic Nashville hot chicken. And they have a new location, downtown Dallas, Deep Ellum. Hit them up. They've got a ton of different levels of heat, from southern, mild, medium, hot, damn hot, and of course the Daredevil's dream, shut the cluck up. Something I say to them a lot down there, apparently. So visit their new location today in Dallas or order for pickup or delivery at HattieBees.com. And while you're there, use the link in the description, create a free Hattie Bees rewards account. It's free, and you receive a $10 gift card. Look, if you create this free rewards account, let me know, because we're going to be giving away a Tyler Smith signed football, and I'm going to get some visuals for that too as well. For those who do sign up for this rewards account. If you sign up for the rewards account, we can keep track of it, but just hit me up on Twitter or whatnot, let me know, and we'll put your name in the pool for this free giveaway of a Tyler Smith signed football. And Tyler Smith is my answer for the most important year two player. I think that was a clear one. I probably could have made that question a little bit harder, but the reason why I think Tyler Smith is the most important year two player is because I think he's likely the linchpin of this offensive line. Meaning, if you pull him out of this offensive line, I hate to say it, but it kind of falls flat on his face. I think they're relying on his versatility. They're relying on his position flex and the fact that he showed I can just get thrown into position on that side of the ball and we can still make this thing work. I can still hold it down. I can be an anchor at left tackle. I can be your mauler at left guard. I also think it might be one of the reasons why they decided not to go high in the offensive line until, middle of the rounds, or take an offensive lineman until the middle of the rounds. And we heard Will McClay, I disagree if he was talking about the depth chart, but we heard Will McClay say, hey, man, the depth, at that position, talking about guard. I don't think he's he's going to say that without thinking about Tyler Smith potentially playing guard if he needs to, whether it be right now, whether it be if things don't work out during camp and he's got to kick in, whether it be an injury happens, whatever. I think they're thinking about Tyler Smith at left guard when factoring in the left guard depth. So Tyler Smith to me is the most important second year player. But I like some of these other answers, I'm interested to hear about why you believe Sam Williams could be that guy. Why Damone Clark is that guy. I think you can make a case for a lot of these guys, but I think Tyler Smith should be the overwhelming answer here. You take Tyler Smith out of this offensive line, I think your offensive line is in big, big trouble. Big, big trouble. I don't mean to scare you, Tuck. I don't mean to scare you, but when you really think about it, he's kind of that linchpin, man. And it's a little risky. He's young, so they don't probably expect him to be a tyrant, situation where you're getting injured. But you never know with football. But I do think they're leaning on Tyler to anchor this line, man. Truly, I think they're leaning on him. Let me see here. Can we redo MG's con? No, we're talking about year two guys. Let me see. Any other answers? I do like the well, let's go one though from Dro. Because you're probably looking at it the way I'm thinking about it. Tell me if I'm wrong. But if Tyron Smith is your starter, then your swing tackle probably becomes one of your most important reserve. Not one of. It becomes your most important reserve position. And if well, let's go is your swing tackle, then he's important. He's extremely important. He didn't play last year, but he's important. So I like that one. Oh no, we don't take Zach. No. I hope we don't take Zach Martin for granted. Lost. The Hall of Famer, man. The Hall of Famer. We do got DJ on the horn prior till we get to mail time here. I do want to hear from DJ. We don't never call in this early. He must got something on his mind. What's good, DJ?
Hey, good morning, Scott. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic, man.
And just for production, I'm on my Bluetooth, so how do I sound? I sound good? I come through clear?
You sound perfectly fine. If he was too loud, y'all let me know. I did turn him down a bit.
All right. Well, I actually called in because of your question. And it's funny because when you asked it, like obviously it's Tyler Smith, right? But when you asked, the first two people that popped into mind were Sam Williams and Deron Bland. really because they're going to be asked to, like Sam Williams in the case of, trying to fulfill that D-Law role that he's had, in that transition because D-Law's older. Not saying that he's going anywhere anytime soon, but he is on the back end of his career. So we want to start fulfilling that hole now, and hopefully Sam Williams can do it. And then, of course, DaRon Bland, not that he didn't have a big role last year, but it's coming in day one knowing, hey, he's the guy, right? Which there's that transition that's going to be taken as well. And if this is going to be a team that's predicated on defense, that was why those were the two guys that kind of popped into my mind this morning.
Fair. That's fair. And it's funny about DaRon. I thought about, he was one of the first names I wrote down. It was always Tyler in my head, but I'm like, all right, let's pretend we're not including Tyler. I thought about DaRon Bland, and here's why, DJ. We saw how important it was to have a cornerback that can step in and fulfill the role of cornerback 2 duties if your cornerback 2 goes down. Like, we saw the effect it had, right? And when you lost AB, who wasn't playing that great anyway, but you saw how you go from not good play to really bad play. It was bad for the Cowboys pass defense. So you could kind of argue DaRon Bland is in the same importance of a swing tackle per se on the offensive line. When you're dealing with a Tyron Smith, your swing tackle is extremely important. Well, if your cornerback 2 goes down or 1 and you got to slide over Gilmore, who's your guy that can step in over there and lock it down and keep your defense afloat? So that's why I say I think you can argue DaRon Bland being extremely important as well, or one of the most important guy if you wanted to go a different route than Tyler Smith. I like it.
For sure. But, there's no arguing with you on Tyler Smith. He's the linchpin, like you said. I think you said that exactly. Everything is predicated around him. If you have Tyron, then cool, you have your left guard situation figured out. But undoubtedly, fingers crossed, and hopefully he just, pulls one out and plays 17 games this year. But the likelihood is that's not going to happen. He's your Tyron Smith replacement, which he's already shown the ability to do. So, right. I completely agree on that. But I don't know why, but my mind immediately went Sam Williams, DaRon Bland.
Yeah, Sam, to me, I think he has a tougher hill to climb when it comes to being the most important, because there's so much depth, on the defense end. And now, and I get it sounds weird to say this because it was already a defensive end last year, but now Micah Parsons is, and I'm using my air quotes, full-time defensive end. I really want to, talk to somebody down there and ask them, does that mean when you come out, your base defense is D-Law, Mike on the edges, and then the interior guys? Because if that's the case, that does affect the depth chart. So Sam Williams, the reason why I can't really say Sam is because you can live on defense without Sam Williams. I hate, it sounds crazy because I'm not knocking Sam, but you just have so much depth from a pass rush standpoint without Sam Williams there, that if he's not living up to the standards, or if he's not playing at that point in time, I think your defense can still be a high level defense. Whereas Bland, if Bland is out the picture and say your cornerback 2 goes down, you're in a lot of trouble. If Bland is out the picture at slot corner, J. Lou should be able to step in, but there's some people that think J. Lou gonna get cut. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I guess my only thing that I'm thinking about on Sam Williams is the fact that at pass rush, you're 100% correct. I'm just thinking of more from a run game standpoint. D-Law's a monster in the run game, and as he gets older, that ability is going to wane. He's still doing it right now, so I'm not taking anything away from him and trying to push him out the door. But we're going to need a guy that's a demon in the run game. And the one I feel most comfortable in fulfilling that role at edge, Michael being the dude he is cool. But if you had to say he had one weakness at end when he was lined up at edge, it was run deep, right? So I trust Sam Williams as that guy to fulfill that role and be that demon in the run game that D-Law is currently as he's making his way out, in the future.
Yeah, I think D-Law.
That may not be this year.
Yeah, I think D-Law. Sam can be D-Law's replacement as well, but I think you got Mozzie to help your run game. That's why, this thing can go a bit deeper when it comes to talk about most important, because if, again, Mozzie's going to help your run game for everybody. Whoever the hell was playing on that field with Mozzie and Hankins, they're all going to get better. It's no secret why your run defense got so much better with Jonathan Hankins, no matter who was playing with him, right? It didn't really matter because he affects the run game that much, and I think Mozzie will as well. So, and again, this isn't a knock on Sam Williams. I think Sam Williams can take over for D-Law at some damn point. But as the most important, I feel like he got a couple guys to climb over. That's all. Good points. Great points. Sure. But most important, he got a couple dudes to me.
For sure. Well, that's all I got, Scott.
Yeah, great stuff.
I'll let you get back into it. I know I called early, man, so I'll let you get your flow back.
I knew you had something on your mind when you called in early, DJ. Appreciate you, dog.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff right there. Good stuff. And again, if I'm able to ever sneak in there and talk to some of these guys down there, I would love to know what their future outlook is with the Sam Williams, what they're planning to do with Micah from a full-time defensive end standpoint. Still think he's going to do some linebacker stuff. Like, he was 80%, 20% last year, so he still did some linebacker stuff, but I don't think he's going to do rookie year linebacker things. We were having discussions the other day about could that be an overzone conversation, and we'll actually talk about that in our mail time segment. So let's go ahead and get to our mail time segment. If I can find my button here. There it is. Let's get to our mailbag segment and knock out the first question, and then we'll get back to the lines. I see you, Chris. Hold tight.
It's time. It's time. It is time for Mail Time. The mail's here. You've got mail.
Yes, indeed. Some good questions today. Before we get to the overshown one down there a little bit later, Zach Donis over on Facebook had a statement in question at the same time, I guess. Who's manning the third down / goal line carries when Pollard, Rojo, Deuce, Davis are all the same type of player? Well, sir, I don't think they are, but I'll talk about that. In other words, who will see an offseason, or in other words, will we see an offseason addition / trade similar to the one the Eagles just made? I'll start backwards. Look, running back is not out of the picture when it comes to a potential acquisition because it's running back. They can get hurt. The room is not secured, in my opinion. As much as we love, I think Deuce is making the team. Obviously, you got Pollard, but there really is no sure thing after Pollard. Pollard's the most sure thing, quite literally. Now, I think Deuce is going to make it. To me, he's sure, but he's a 6th round pick. If he doesn't show out, I don't think that's going to happen. But if he doesn't show out, he's off the team. However, when you say who's manning the third down goal line carries, Pollard, Rojo, Deuce, and Davis are the same, I disagree there. I disagree. You want to argue Pollard and Deuce are the same because they're your more electric backs. They're more of your quick backs, your kind of duo backs where they can run the ball, catch the ball at the backfield. Sure. Davis is, I think, a little in between these guys. But ladies and gentlemen, Ronald Jones is nothing like those other two dudes. Or three. So Zach, when you say who's manning it, it's Ronald Jones. I mean, he's your goal line, your physical, your big back. Well, Scott, he didn't do anything with the Chiefs. He did. Hey, look, he didn't. He only played one game, really, and it was this game right here, the Las Vegas Raiders. They signed him to a 1-year deal last year. He thought he was going to be a part of offense. He gets there and they realize, look, we are more of a dual threat running back type of situation back there. Hence McKinnon, Pacheco, Clyde Hilaire-Edwards. Those guys were just the guys that they elected to roll with. But do not mistake that for Ronald Jones doesn't have a skill set that can fit on this team. Just don't do that. He is a guy that makes people miss at the second level. He is a guy that is powerful dude. He runs angry, runs pissed off, and he's already pissed off. So as we speak right now, 5/5/2023, that's your goal line guy. That's your third down, I need a yard guy. Sure, that could change. That could change once you get to camp and they bring in an undrafted guy. They sign a dude off the streets or what have you. But I will give you this. Pollard, Deuce, Malik are not necessarily that mold. They're not going to fit that mold of power, goal line, short yardage type situation. Hell, Pollard last year, we saw the Detroit game as a perfect example. They got down to the goal line. Pollard, by the way, got them down to the goal line, and he couldn't quite punch it in. Enter Ezekiel Elliott, boom, touchdown. That was probably the most important thing he did last year for Dallas. He was their hammer at the goal line. I believe 10 of his 12 touchdowns came 5 yards and in. I'm not diminishing Zeke's career here. I'm not diminishing Zeke's season, but I don't think there's a world where I don't believe a power back can give you goal line touchdowns if they're given the opportunity to do it. And I think if Ronald Jones is given that opportunity to be your goal line back for this team in a power or kind of a multifaceted run scheme, Ronald Jones could do it for you. So I got Ronald Jones as that goal line guy. Cowboys Nation, is that about right? I mean, I really don't see anyone else at this point in that running back room, not the fullback room, but in the running back room being that. And even honestly, you know what? I'll say it. I don't think Hunter Lipke's better than Ronald Jones. I don't think that's the case. Now, Hunter Lipke as a H-back, fullback, halfback, do-it-all role, we can have a conversation, but just as a running back, I'm not doing that. But go out there and show me he's better than Ronald Jones in camp, but I'm not going to say he's better than Ronald Jones right now. Sam, Ronald Jones has definitely been a power back. I mean, just go watch the Tampa Bay season in 2020 when they won the Super Bowl. Just go watch it. This is a power kid. As he runs over the entire Green Bay Packers, this is a power kid, man. This isn't a scat back. This isn't a speed back. This is a powerful, angry runner that has some wiggle in that second level. So I disagree there. Dro says use an extra lineman as your third tight end. Run any of our running backs behind a fullback. I mean, I guess you're saying you don't need one. I'd push back a little bit there. I mean, if that's the case, no team would ever have a big back. Well, we don't need a big back. I think there is something to having that. And I think there is something to Ezekiel Elliott having that skill set as a short yardage dude, because he's able to kind of move the pile. He's able to find those rushing lanes, dip his head down and use his strength. No offense to Deuce Vaughn, but if Deuce Vaughn meets a guy at the hole and has to push for an extra yard or two, how often is that happening if he's running into defensive linemen or defensive ends on a consistent basis when it's a constricted area? I think you do kind of need to have some versatility in that room. Is it a necessity 100% of the time? Probably not, depending on your scheme. But at the end of the day, power football is power football. Got to have a power, power football is power football. It's good to have one of those dudes, in my opinion. And I think it's Rojo. All right, let's get back to the horn and talk to, we don't whack them 3-0 folks, a.k.a. Chris. What's good, Chris? What's good with you? Oh, let me bring Chris in here. My bad, Joe. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I just had you muted over here.
Okay, word. Yeah, no, I can't.
Now you break it up.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm in a dead spot than I usually am. Can you hear me now?
Yep, gotcha.
Okay, yeah. I was saying that I'm down here in Florida with some types that we don't wife up.
Go ahead, bro.
Oh, man. Yeah, man, I'm excited for this season, man. This is the first time in years where I look at this team and I'm not like, yeah, we can go win the NFC East. I look at this team and I'm like, we can go to the damn Super Bowl. No doubt in my mind about that. When you look at last year, if we win those Green Bay and Jacksonville games, they could have potentially gotten the 1 seed. And where did those two teams beat us? They beat us because they were throwing at cornerback too. They were running the ball on us all game. and we had bad receiver play outside of CeeDee Lamb. We addressed those 3 areas of the team, and I love the Mozzie Smith pick. I love what they did in the draft, and I'm really excited for this season, man.
As you should be. Don't be draft day depressed like some others, man. Like, the draft is a part of the entire offseason. And I'm going to keep saying it. No draft is really going to put you over the top. The draft is supposed to kind of help you fit into what you've done in the offseason or what you're building prior to that. And, Micah Parsons come around every once in a while. He's an over-the-top type guy, but that's not going to happen for you all the time. So these draft picks have to fit in a role. And help you get to where you want to be. But if you're mad because they didn't draft a bunch of hump players as rookies, you're looking at this thing wrong, man. Your team did some great work heading into the draft. You didn't need a whole lot of extraness in the draft. You needed to get some pieces that fit, and then we'll see what happens moving forward in the future. But I think they did that. Now, they didn't get the one piece I would have liked them to get, but I'm not going to let that derail the entire offseason.
Well, and you think of it, right? Like, a lot of people are making noise about Jalen Carter going to Philly. They don't talk about that he's replacing Javon Hargrave. We're adding because we didn't lose anybody on that defense. So we're making an addition with Mozzie Smith. And I don't think the gap between Mozzie and Jalen is all that big. And I think with Dan Quinn, Mozzie Smith's going to be an absolute problem, man.
Yeah. I think he will too. I mean, I won't really discuss look, I get it, shitting on the Jalen Carter. I get it, man. It is what it is. But I like the player. I think he's really good. I think it's a great fit. But I don't want to go there because it's gonna feel like I'm talking up the Eagles. So they had a good draft, whatever. Their team are going to contend with whatever. But you're right about the Cowboys and Mozzie Smith. The addition I don't think is that far off in regards to the meaning on this team. I like how you put it though. Like we're adding. We're not trying to replace something that wasn't there with Mozzie Smith. We're actually adding to it with Jonathan Hankins, whereas where you said they're trying to replace a Javon Hargrave, who was a Pro Bowl, All-Pro type player.
And one last thing before I go. The main thing that I'm concerned about going into this season is the health on the offensive line. Because I have no doubt if these guys are healthy, Tyler,
Jesus.
Zach,
Terrence. It's crazy.
Yeah, ton of T's on that offensive line.
I gotta let you go. I gotta let you go, Chris. You keep going in and out, brother. But I'll address that. Appreciate the call, brother. Yeah, he said it's so basically he's saying that offensive line stays healthy. I think he's saying this. He has no doubt the offensive line can work. Look, I don't think any of us would argue that. I'm just not going to drink the Kool-Aid with a whole bunch of sugar in it with this offensive line from a health standpoint. Maybe it's because I'm scarred. Sky, you being negative. I'm not being negative, man. I'm just trying to approach this thing with the most realistic mindset as possible. Damn it, Tyler Smith or Tyron Smith is going to miss games. That is, man, it's death, taxes, Tyron Smith getting hurt. So I am worried about that offensive line in regards to the depth. But if they don't get it, if for whatever reason Tyron Smith ended up playing 17 games for you, man, that'd be great. That'd be great. And you just hope that, Zach and Terrence and Ty and everybody else kind of stay compacted. We saw when Tyler Biadasz won out last year, there was an issue on the interior. We ain't really mentioned, center depth or nothing like that. But hey, man, let's just pray to the football gods. Let's pray to the football gods. These boys stay healthy. Let's get back into the mailbag. And he talked about, was it him or it was Chris. Talked about the division, talked about where we stand, Super Bowl and things like that. King Leo here on Facebook, or I'm sorry, on YouTube said, now that we're past free agency and the draft has concluded, where do you think the Cowboys stand in the division and conference? The Dallas Cowboys are one of the top teams in the entire league at this point, in my opinion. So when it comes to the conference and the division, I mean, they're right there with the defending NFC champions, Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think I'm wrong here. We are talking about a 2-game difference last year in records. They beat them too. I get it. They didn't have their quarterback. Well, we didn't have our quarterback. But they backup quarterback hung 40 or 34. I'm sorry. That highly touted defense got 40 put on them. So I think the Cowboys are right there with them. I look around these ratings and rankings and whatever the hell you want to call it, and I constantly see the Niners put above the Cowboys, and it pisses me off because we can't really argue it. I feel the Cowboys roster is better than the 49ers roster. Maybe it's because of the quarterback, but you can say, well, Scott, the quarterback ain't played well against the Niners. Dak didn't. And I can't fight these people because we lost to the Niners twice now in the playoffs. So I can't really fight these analysts that want to put them up there. But it pisses me off because we're talking about a team that quite literally don't know who its quarterback is being ranked above the Cowboys. That don't piss me off because of rankings. But it pisses me off because when I want to have a actual football conversation, let me put the 49ers hat on for a quick second. The only thing I got to do is say, well, y'all can't beat us in the playoff. Yeah, but we got a quarter. But y'all didn't beat us in the playoffs. Yeah, but we added this to the deep. But y'all ain't beat us in the playoffs. I mean, that's just what I would keep saying if I was an annoying Niner fan. But I think the Cowboys are right up there with them, right up there with Philly. We'll see how it all shakes out during the regular season. But no doubt in my mind, Dallas will be contending for the NFC once again. And there's no Tom Brady. There's no Aaron Rodgers in the NFC. I think the Cowboys are the class with the other two. I don't like the fight, man. Seth Rosa over on Instagram. Does Jalen Moreno-Cropper have a high chance of making this team? We talked about Jalen Moreno-Cropper yesterday. Boy, this is again, a lot of these undrafted free agent spotlights. We're going to talk about a lot of good things with this dude. The one issue I have with him is the drops. Other than that, talking about a wide receiver room that outside the top three, there ain't no guarantee in role. There may be a guarantee in roster. Like you're not cutting Jalen Tolbert. He's making the roster. But in a role, there isn't one. And I think Moreno-Cropper, I said this yesterday, he's a route running slot guy. Man, I love when Dak has a route running slot guy. Talking about Cobb, Cole Beasley. Now, I don't think Wilson is on the same stratosphere from a route running standpoint as Cole, but he can run some route. He got quick feet. But when you give Dak Prescott a slot, there's success there. So, I'm really going to be keeping my eye on him. So I think he does have a high chance to make this team. And we haven't even seen him on the field. But I'm looking at it from a roster standpoint. From a roster standpoint, Simi is no guarantee. I know Pro Bowl returns. I don't think Turpin's even a guarantee at this point. If they roll with 6 wide receivers, I think there's 2 spots up for competition right now. And they're going to fight it out like dogs. So, yeah, I think there's a high chance because of the roster, but obviously he has to go out there and play. We saw last year in a receiver room that was a little bit weaker, so it's kind of unfair. We saw a Dennis Houston make the roster. He had no special qualities, in my opinion. He made the roster just because he was where he needed to be. And I'm not joking. I think there is some special qualities with Cropper that are better than a Houston. So sure, I think there's absolutely a chance here. What do y'all think? Do you think there's a high chance for Moreno-Cropper to make this team? Let's see here. The only team to beat us was Cowboys. Hey, look, man, NC Street. That is something, right? Cowboys usually beat the Cowboys, man. If you are a wrestling fan, and we'll get to that question at the bottom there, Brett screwed Brett. If you don't get that, I'm not about to explain it to you. But that's how I feel about Dallas a lot of the times. Dallas screwed Dallas. I'm blaming the referees. Y'all screwed yourselves. C says not high. Colin says, Professor O says high, no, but decent chance. Good chance. High could be high probable. That's fair. That's fair. All pro Noah Brown. Feel me, Jay? Brett screwed Brett. The Cowboys screwed the Cowboys. Matisse, does that mean that Tolbert and Simi are off the team? No, sir. Well, speaking of Tolbert. If so, tough to think he would make it. I think Tolbert is guaranteed a roster spot. I don't think he's guaranteed a role. Dallas is definitely not cutting a 3rd-round pick after a year in a camp. I don't think that's happening. But I think he's guaranteed to be on the team. So there's 4 guarantees at the wide receiver spot. Everybody else, I think, legitimately is going to be fighting for their spot. And I don't care that Turpin made the Pro Bowl last year as a returner. They brought in 2 guys, Cropper, who has return experience, and Deuce Vaughn. We got to see him as a returner, but Deuce Vaughn has the skill set to be a returner. So if Tolbert, had all these touchdowns last year as a returner, I wouldn't even be talking about this. But if you're not going to be a super returner scoring touchdowns and you're not contributing on offense at the receiver position and you're not running down as a gunner to play, special teams in that manner, then I think his roster spot should be up for competition. It should be up for competition. Tough love, call it whatever you want. But I ain't guaranteeing nothing with him. 510, what's good?
Me?
Yes, sir. You live.
Hello?
You are live, 510.
Oh, shit, dude. Am I echoing?
Nope. You good over here.
What's up, man? How are you doing?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Oh, my God. I hear it in the background. It's echoing. Anyways, what do you want to know?
You called into the show, man. What's on your mind?
Okay, so the thing we were just talking about, my opinion is that they're not going to give the guys the time, man. They're not going to give them the time on the field to make a difference.
Which guy? Which guys?
Well, Turpin for one thing.
Okay.
But I think. Oh, there we go. That's better. Oh shit! No, I'm still hearing myself echo it, dude. It's just so bad.
Try putting it on speaker or something. I don't know.
I'm not high, dude. Why are you guys all saying I'm not high? I'm just drunk. First of all, I just want to say I love watching you guys' show. Fucking you and oh god, you better mute me because I have a foul mouth.
I'm drunk. Well, appreciate the support, man. Thanks for calling in. Continue to support if you will, brother. But we're gonna keep it moving. All right.
All right.
Oh wow, that's sometimes that's what happens when you're first time. I'm pretty sure this guy was a first time caller, but appreciate you. Is it Lynn? Appreciate you, Lynn. We'll just keep it moving here. I know I shouldn't have any issues here with Jake the Great. Jake the Great, what's good, man?
Yo, Scott Walker, what's happening, man? Good morning, man.
Good morning.
Man, you got people starstruck, man, when they call you.
Nah, no way. I ain't shit, man.
Oh, man.
What's
hey,
good?
Not to take up too much of your time, but
Okay.
Man, I think I'm flawed. I'm flawed, man. I got some flaws in me, man. I was a big fan of Turpin, man. And then I kept going back and I watched his highlights, and I think there's like 3 kickoffs that he could have possibly ran back for a touchdown.
100%.
And it's like, man, I'm still, like, I don't know, man. I'm mad at him because if he would have ran that kickoff back against the 49ers, I think we win that game. And I'm just so pissed off. We can push him off the bridge because if it comes to the decision between, I'm sorry, man. I'm going to push him off.
No, Jake,
electrifying.
I'm not mad at you, bro, because I think there's a bias I'm holding on to that return as well. But I also got to remove that bias and think about the 2 muff punts that almost lost the game for the Cowboys too. He had 2 muff punts at the back end of the season. Remember that? So it's not just that game, but that game pissed me off because that might have been one of the most. Any other electrifying returner is scoring a touchdown, like any other one, and he didn't. But
because there's nobody there.
It was, he did that a number of times throughout the season too. And, when I went and looked at some more, because we did a whole show where there was a part of Turpin. I looked at stats and all this stuff, and he was not number one in anything. Now, he might have been top 7 or 8 in a different categories, but it wasn't like he had the most return touchdowns or the most punt return yards or kick. It wasn't anything like that. Now, he didn't get as many chances as some other dudes, and he might have been number one at one point in the season, but as the season progressed, it didn't maintain that level of play. So, yeah, I'm a little hard on him, probably because of what happened in the playoffs and towards the end of the season. But I think it's fair to ask for more from Turpin, and to ask him to be more in the passing game, ask him to do more from a return standpoint. If not, I want to see if other guys can do more in both of those aspects.
Yes, you're absolutely right, because it's fair, because if you're not going to be returning kickoffs for a touchdown, what are you doing on the team? Because you're not going to run down the special teams and tackle anybody.
No, he ain't doing that.
Yeah,
exactly.
And one of those undrafted free agents, the fullback, I like him. He reminds me of Mike Allstott, but the problem I got with him, I ain't seen not one clip of him blocking. And I'm like, you're going to be a fullback. I don't want you coming in here running the ball like that. I want to see you peel somebody back out that hole, and I just don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I got to watch some more film, but
no, he was very much more a halfback, H-back than a Mike Allstott. Now, Mike Allstott halfback too, but Mike Allstott could lead block me. I ain't gonna go that far. Call him Mike. Mike Allstott is disrespect. He was one of my favorite football players growing up. Disrespectful. He ain't in the Hall of Fame, bro. Disrespectful. He ain't Hall of Fame. Yeah. But I think you're kind of right there. Shout out to Tuck. Go watch Tuck's. Y'all heard that too. Go watch Tuck's breakdown on Hunter Lipke. But there's probably more of him rushing and receiving and things like that than there is just flat out, I'm mauling dudes from a blocking standpoint. And that's something we talked about when we did our undrafted free agent spotlight. He's a versatile cat, but I think one of the things he's going to have to show in camp is that I can lead block. I can get dirty and he got a bum shoulder, man. So that's scary when you really want to ask this guy to lead block.
I'm not going to jinx him, but you got a bum shoulder. I'm sorry, fullback. You look good, but you ain't going to be on this team. I'm going to let you know right now. Unless you go out there and you blow one of these linebackers out the hole, I ain't really feeling them like that. And one last thing. I know I keep saying one last thing too much. The chat's probably dogging me out for saying that.
I got this comment I want to talk about. Go ahead.
How do you feel really on Michael Parsons trying to put on that weight to play DN full time? Do you think that will slow him down?
No.
On his burst?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday.
You go, Skywalker, you do your thing.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Jay, great. Appreciate the call, brother. Look, don't worry about Micah putting on 6, 7, 8, 10 pounds, whatever, and losing athletic. Michael Parsons is an alien. You ain't got to worry about. He's an athletic freak. You ain't got to worry about Michael Parsons losing any athleticism from putting on muscle, not fat, he's putting on armor to deal with the stuff down there. So don't worry about him. But I wanted to talk about this comment I just saw. Dallas Cowboys great. Is that what it was? Where'd you go? He said something. There it is. Sky, give context. Talking about Turpin. He said the man. Stop moving. Stop moving. Give context. The man played football all year. It went away. I don't know where it's at here, but Dallas Cowboys great or what have you. You basically saying give some context to Kevontae Turpin. He played football all year because he was in the USFL. Essentially, cut him some slack, give him a break. Fair. He played football all year. Couple things. And answer this question. What does him playing football all year have to do with him making a kicker miss? How many times do we see him get in open field and get tackled by the kicker or not make a guy miss? I don't really see that being an issue. What does him playing football all year have to do with him being a liability from a gunner special team standpoint? Like, he's only going to be a guy that can return. He's not a guy that you put out there on kicking on kickoff, on punt return coverage, or any of that. So that's going to limit him as well, because receivers 5, 6, 4, 5, and 6 usually do that stuff. So I don't think him playing football all year has anything to do with him being a liability from a coverage standpoint, because he's not going to be able to do that, or him making kickers miss in the open field. I'm sorry. I just don't think that has anything to do with it. Now, if you were saying, hey, he's been gassed on offense when he gets the ball, he's getting hawked, or, he's fumbling, he's not breaking tackles, when he's catching a rock or things like that, I would say, probably playing football affected him. But the dude didn't play on offense. So I can't say him playing football affected him in those areas I talked about. I think that's fair to say. So if you're not going to be on special teams as a gunner, if you're not going to participate offensively, then damn it, you better be crushing it as a returner. Now, maybe he gets more opportunities on offense. That's to be seen. But I want to see it. That answers your question there, or your statement, or whatever. I don't think it's wanting too much. See, when you're building a roster, you gotta account these things. If Cropper goes in there, if Deuce Vaughn comes in here, and these dudes show you something, they're going to have a conversation. I'm telling you, if Cropper go in there and he's a better receiver than Kevontae Turpin, there's going to be a conversation. Maybe they shift the conversation and say, damn it, we'll go long at receiver. We'll go 7. Turpin's been tearing it up as a returner in preseason. He's been tearing it up as a returner in camp. We're not cutting him. So maybe the conversation shifts, but there's going to be a conversation. And I don't think he should be guaranteed a damn thing. All right, not every game. He put other team in great position, in field position too. NC Street. You remember those muff punts? Yeah. Sure did. 903. What's good?
What's going on, Will Still?
What's up with you?
I just listening to the podcast while I'm delivering this Dr. Pepper out here.
I can hear it.
I was going to talk about Mozzie Smith and
only
how excited I am.
You only get like 15 opportunities, brother. You can't. I'm talking to the chat. They captain for Turpin right now. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I mean, we can talk Turpin because I think he makes the team, and I think he can contribute as long as they're willing to give him the opportunities. But Jalen Tolbert, if he don't produce, I send his ass out
Professor
of here.
O. I'm sorry. If he was Dwayne Harris, totally different conversation.
Yeah,
Dwayne Harris was never Devin Hester, but Dwayne Harris was a fantastic returner. He gave you stuff on offense. He covered kicks. He did everything. I wouldn't even be having this conversation if he was Dwayne Harris. He ain't even Dwayne Harris as a returner.
Yeah,
Miss me with this Turpin cap, fam. Miss me with that. Go ahead. What?
Oh, that's all, bro. I appreciate you, and I'll listen. I'll hang up and listen.
Salute. My bad, bro. I'm just astonished by this cap from a man who hasn't returned a touchdown. Caught one pass and got popped. I mean, we acting like he was Dwayne. That's a perfect man, Professor O. Get a round of applause, Professor O. Dwayne Harris. That's a great recall. Love Dwayne Harris. Let's get back to the mailbag. Great recall. I can't pronounce this name, brother, but I apologize. On Facebook, looks like Oscar talking about wrestling. Says, I believe that DeMarvion Overshown's best position is middle linebacker. Where do you see him playing? I don't see middle linebacker right now. I'll tell you that much. We had a very lengthy discussion yesterday about DeMarvion Overshown because it was the Overshown show yesterday. I'll be talking about DeMarvion Overshown on Monday. Tune in, Oscar. But I'll say he's not. I don't believe he's a middle linebacker. My type of middle linebacker. Maybe he's a type of middle linebacker. I need my middle linebacker to be a bit of a quarterback of my second level, getting everybody in order and whatnot. Overshown is still learning the position. In fact, he may not even play that position. He might be more of the big nickel type of situation. So I see him, if you're talking pure linebacker, and we'll get into more details next week, as a will guy. If you're talking more of a weapon, he'll do some will things. He'll do some big nickel things. He'll do some pass rush things. But he's a guy that I'm still, it's like he got to study him hard, I think, to find out, or straight up ask them, like, what exactly they're going to do. And I don't think they even know. I think the coach, if I'm not mistaken, said, we're going to get him in here and we're going to see what we can do. A kid with a bunch of talent, a bunch of traits, and they want to see what he can do. But I don't see it being middle linebacker. I definitely don't see it being that. I see this being more of a pass rush sometimes, a safety covered tight end sometimes, a blitzer. He was, we'll talk about it more, but he was great when he was a loop guy in stunts, but middle, nah, I don't see that. And finally, love this question. Dro knows, NWO Hollywood, NWO Wolfpack, DX, are we all the nation, a domination? Who was the best? No. May shock a lot of y'all here that are wrestling heads. I don't have NWO Hollywood as the best. I have them as the most important. DX is the best of these factions. Period. NWO made the heels real cool. They was the hottest thing cooking at that point in time when they first made themselves a thing in 96. But here's why DX is better. DX was able to reinvent themselves over and over and over again. You had the original DX where Shawn Michaels was heading things, and this was real heat. They was getting real heat backstage from the fans. It was fantastic. Shawn Michaels was not saved Shawn Michaels yet. And then they had Triple H led DX, where they added Road Dogg and X-Pac got going and whatnot. And they added a few more pieces to it. And he made his turn from Hunter Hearst Helmsley DX to Triple H DX. And then they reinvented themselves again during the Ruthless Aggression era coming on back, where NWO Hollywood had a good 3-year run and it got super stale. Wolfpack, look, I love the black and red. I love the theme. I love the whole versus the NWO Hollywood. But the Wolfpack was a hey man, we got to do something different because the NWO thing is getting stale. So most important, NWO Hollywood, absolutely. Changed the facet of wrestling, period. It's probably birthed the Attitude Era, and it birthed them having to respond with the DX. But DX is the best. Might be a little biased, but DX is the best because they continued to reinvent themselves and they carried the Attitude Era along with obviously big superstars, but from a faction standpoint. I got DX, NWO Hollywood, Nation of Domination, then the NWO Wolfpack. That's my rankings. I appreciate you football people sticking with me through this wrestling rant here. I could talk way longer about all this, which is why I need to just start a goddamn wrestling podcast, but I got too much stuff on my plate. So that's today's mailbag segment. Would love to rap more about wrestling with y'all. I'm seeing y'all drop a whole lot of stuff in here. Ruthless Aggression should be the name of the defense. Oh, I like that, actually. Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner. I see somebody drop that name in here. 4 Horsemen. Yeah, but he's talking about, I think I know where Dro was going with this group. This group was that Attitude Era, Monday Night Wars era of factions, where the OG 4 Horsemen precedes all of that. Mr. Dunn thinks that he'll play the curse role, same body type, safety turn backer. Man, very possible. I'm not going to predict anything right now. Y'all can predict it. I have no idea until we get, mini camp, training camp and whatnot, and we see what's up, because he doesn't fit in any box. He doesn't fit in one singular box. for this team right now. He's a guy with a bunch of traits that played a bunch of different things in college, that dealt with a bunch of different changes in college. So it's very much so a wait and see approach to the actual role of this team. I don't like how they did the draft this year, Doc Holliday. I think it was just a way for them to create a new belt. They're not the old Raw versus SmackDown back in the day was actual thing. There was like a brand thing to it. Now it's really pointless, and it was whack how they did it. But that's nothing else. That's different. That's different. All right, let's get back to these phone lines. Hey, Miss Jackie in the building. What's good? I ain't seen Miss Jackie in a minute. You know, I still use your gift box that you mailed me a couple years ago. Thank you for that, by the way. Still use a lot of those things in there. All right, we got a couple more callers. 3 to be exact. We're going to wrap this thing up. 727. What's goody?
What's up there, Mr. Scott? This is Mr. Amos here. What's going on?
Famous. What's good, Mr. Amos?
Oh, nothing. I'm trying to teach the old fella here, trying to digest some stuff. Yeah, I was thinking, about one thing about the West Coast offense. If you a receiver, worth your salt, got some talent, the West Coast offense is going to exploit that. So none of those guys have the excuse that they got the talent. Tober, Quapper, whoever they are.
Quapper.
If you can play, then that West Coast offense is going to exploit your talents, because based on back in the day, because you had like T.O.
Yeah.
T.O. was, nobody didn't know anything about him, the spot he was in. And then when he came thrust into the lineup in that West Coast offense, he was able to play, he was able to strive and make some money for himself. As far as the kick returner, the small guy, I can't think of his name right now, Turpin.
Mr. Amos, one second, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I would like to actually talk about what you said about the West Coast offense. I think that's very true. Even under McCarthy, you ain't even got to go as far back as T.O. You could talk about McCarthy when you go look at the receivers with the Packers. His offense, granted, I get it. You had Brett Favre and you had Aaron Rodgers, but his offense helped elevate many wide receivers, young ones that were on that team as young receivers, and then the next year they make this leap or they make this jump, or the following year. And you're talking about Greg Jennings. You're talking about obviously Randall Cobb. I believe they had Donald Driver was a little later in his career with McCarthy, but it is what it is. A plethora of receivers, even to this day. When you talk about the kid that just went to the Jets, he was drafted by Mike McCarthy. So yeah, the West Coast offense is quarterback and receiver friendly.
Yeah, and you got a quarterback that that will find those guys that elevate a wide receiver also too. Is Dak
James
Prescott.
Jones, another one.
Because Dak Prescott don't got some receivers paid, even though they fooled him when he went to another team. That was something a little different, because I've been watching football for years, and I hated the Packers and I hated the 49ers. And they would get this nobody receiver like Jordy Nelson. What did Jordy Nelson do after he got out of that West Coast offense?
Yeah, it was
pretty much nothing.
Yeah, it's pretty done.
Cobb, he was able to do a little thing. Lazard, and some of those big receivers that are coming out of that system. Those are good systems because I think the odd man out of those receivers, and I hate to say it, but because McCartney's getting those type of people in that he wanted to be in there, I think it's going to be Gallup. Because Gallup is not that pretty much prototypical guy that will go across, and I've been kind of skeptical of him from the beginning because he can't pretty much take over a game. He'll outrun a pattern. Sometimes he won't show up where he's supposed to show up, and the tendency, the traits that he showed last year to get Dak, not to get Dak out of trouble.
What famous Amos?
And not running his routes properly.
Which Gallup are we talking about?
Sir.
Because I think there's two Gallups. I think there's ACL, Gallup, where everything you're saying is fair. But I think there's pre-ACL Gallup, where I think everything you just said is the opposite. I think he is a guy that could take over the game if you don't, pay attention to him in the sense of deep balls and slants. I think he is a guy that could come across the middle, be your possession, tough catcher, possession receiver. I think he is a guy that you could have relied on pre-ACL Gallup. Now, last year Gallup, that's a different discussion. So I think it's a matter of what Gallup am I going to get?
I'm talking about the Gallup who has not able to elevate himself into the conversation of being a number one receiver.
Oh no.
He's been in the league for a long time.
Well, he's not a number one receiver though.
I mean, even at a small whisper of even being a decent number two, because right now, because
wait, Mr. Amos, look. We could argue Michael Gallup, and I'm gonna go ahead and assume you're talking about Michael Gallup healthy, like no ACL Michael Gallup. Right, you talking about
the Michael Gallup? I see missing balls.
Sir. But so you're talking about we're assuming you're talking about a healthy Michael Gallup, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's healthy. He pretty much didn't do because I think that
Wait a minute. Wait a minute now, Mr. Amos. Mr. Amos, slow down. Did you watch the 2019 season when Michael Gallup played?
I watched him from the beginning.
Okay. Did you watch 2020 when Michael Gallup was healthy?
Yes, it did.
Oh, actually, he played 2020, so it wasn't healthy. Did you watch in 2021 when he was healthy? But nonetheless, what I'm getting at is you said an inkling of him being a wide receiver too. Well, Michael Gallup was a wide receiver too, healthy. Okay. Michael Gallup was just that for you, a very productive wide receiver too. I mean, we could talk about numbers if you want, but that's easy. But just go pop on the tape. He was a very productive number two receiver for you when you had a guy opposite to help him. Let's not act like Michael Gallup gave you nothing. Let's not act like Michael Gallup, healthy Michael Gallup. Well, you just sat here and say he's a guy that's dropping balls and a guy that you can't count on and a guy that da-da-da. Well, Michael Gallup was pre-ACL Michael Gallup.
I down that hill. Yeah. I would down that hill about that. I would have been replaced him.
Okay. I mean, look, I'm not going to sit. What I'm not trying to do, I would have not signed Michael Gallup because of the ACL and brought back Cooper. I'm still there. I would have not been counting on Michael Gallup to just miraculously be old Michael Gallup going into this year. But what I'm hearing is you think Michael Gallup wasn't shit from the jump. And I disagree with that.
No.
Yes.
I don't think he progressed the way that I figured him to be because I watched him when he was at in his college career when he was a Ram, and I was hoping that that he would. At least be a number one because in my eyes, maybe I underestimate because I thought I seen him as a one, and I thought in his career he probably would be a one as he progressed. No, as coming out of college.
Hey,
that's just
all right. That ain't your man. That ain't your guy there. But look, I am all about.
I like it.
I'm all about not bringing back post ACL Michael Gallup, but before all of that. Before hurt guy Michael Gallup, I do think he was progressing to be a very dependable wide receiver 2 or a top wide receiver 3, if you wanted to call it that. So that's just where we disagree, Mr. Amos. That's all.
I think that the competition is there for him. Is going to push him. I think more or less, that he is going to face the fiercest competition because of his age, because of the contract, and the way the Joneses do receivers.
Sir. So he's going to face the most competition because of his contract at that receiver position.
Well, I mean, the Jones do funny things. Steven do funny things with contracts and with receiver because they don't make sense, to me and you, but for some reason they make sense to him.
Yeah. Who's Michael Gallup's competition?
Michael Gallup's competition?
Yes, sir.
Well, I don't know. Anybody can come out of training camp.
He said anybody is Michael Gallup's competition, sir.
Now, anybody come out of training camp, right? Anybody can be a competition.
All right, fair.
I would say that. I'd say anybody. You never know.
Had they drafted another receiver in the top 2 or 3 rounds, I think the conversation could change a little bit here. But they took a receiver in the 7th. They didn't really sign another one after Cooks.
I'm not relying on that dude. Cropper. I'm not. I don't know what they've seen in Tober. I mean, maybe Tober can be a little bit better than what he was before he could get in.
So you don't believe it's Tober? You don't believe it's the draft pick? Then who the hell is his competition?
No, I believe it could be. I believe that it may be. They may be souring on him a little bit.
All right. Well, look, I mean, I think the top 3 receiver positions.
Your contract.
I think your top 3 positions at the receiver position are stamped. I think it's Lamb, I think it's Gallup, I think it's Cooks. Those are your guys, man. At least for 2023. Those are your guys. After that, there's a different discussion there, man.
Mr. Chase, yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that point, but but one thing also, I'm going to say this before I let, so I go about my business. I think that, that Turpin's job is going to try to make Bond the number 2 running back, because that's his competition right there, because he didn't impress me either. And remember when they walked to him and they were looking for him, he himself thought he was going to get cut, because he didn't think he was doing that spectacular, because, I worried I'd be being cut.
I think he did say that. You're right, Amos. You're right, Amos. He did say, I think they approached him and he thought it was going to get cut. It was more about the conversation of what his role could be next year. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, during the briefing when they announced that he was being a Pro Bowl player, so I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know. And I think, it's a lack of focus, because you're running into people, you're not doing and there was a lot of hype about them. And I agree with you. I didn't see too many things that propelled this guy to be this all-pro special team.
He's not untouchable.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he ain't untouchable, man.
No, he's not. So he better play, because he better keep an eye on Deuce.
I gotta find.
Because I think Deuce can do all he can do, and they can do it better. But if they got their mind focused on keeping Deuce healthy to be a running back, which I think they should do, based on the depth chart that they have right now, just in case something happened to Pollard. And I don't think they can depend on Jones that much, because I'm from the Tampa Bay area, and old boy can fumble pretty good. But that's all I got to say. And I'm still, gonna keep an eye on Gallup. I know Gallup, you like him, but yeah, some people, Dak people. I love Dak, but that Gallup. All
right, man. All right, I'm a Gallup guy now. My guy,
man.
appreciate you, Ms. Amy. Salute. Now look, y'all. I'm not pro or against Gallup. I'm rooting for this dude to get back to what he was. I just had to defend him, I felt like, right here, because it felt like, he was saying Gallup wasn't shit prior to his ACL injury. And he showed that he was. But 68 Wonder Boy says, Sky was about to say, now hold on, wait a one goddamn minute now, Mr. Facts, I did do that. Because it felt like he was, like, did we forget that Gallup was, Gallup was a pretty damn solid 2 to Amari Cooper. And when he was a 3 to Cooper and Lamb, we ain't had no complaints about no Michael Gallup. We won't worry about Michael Gallup. So I'm just a bit baffled about pre-injury Michael Gallup. That's all. It was. Do I got any? I think I do got some 2021 Michael Gallup tape. I deleted the 2020. Shit, I thought I did. Maybe I don't. Yo, wow. Hey, let's take a quick break. Finish up the calls after we get back from talking about Boston Scientific. ED can affect your self-esteem, impact your most important relationships. And if you've tried pills or even injections and those things haven't worked, we got a solution for you. It's Boston Scientific. They created edcure.org to help you get the facts, find a urologist who can offer treatment options that work when others do not. All you got to do is click the link in the description, take the online assessment, give it to your doctor, learn more about the situation that you have, and boom, to help you find a solution. Again, that's edcure.org, brought to you by Boston Scientific. It ain't hard, but you can be.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast.
No, goddamn it. Oh, wow, I think that's funny as hell.
To bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
We'll do it live.
Am I capping for Michael Gallup, yo? That was good. We got, how many we got? Juan, hold tight. We gonna end with you, brother. We got, did I just do I just did Mr. Amos. So we got 832, and then we're going to roll out of here. Let's see, Clebo. I agree with you on Turpin. He was frustrating at times, but if McCarthy can find a way to use him on keep him if he's replaceable. That is where I think he needs to show his worth offensively. We know he can return, he can flip the field for you, and I'm not going to knock it. I'm not going to sit here and knock that. But if he's only going to be a return, then you need to not just flip the damn, bro. You need to score a goddamn touchdown and not fumble the ball. And I know, I forget who was in the chat that was like, he only muffed 2. Well, you only get like 15 of those opportunities, man. If that, right? Most of them is fair catches. So if you fumble in 2 of them and they're recovered by the opposing team, that ain't good. That ain't good. When I put this on today, I had a feeling y'all were gonna kill me. Actually, you can't kill me about the sky blue. You can't kill me about the sky blue, L. Y'all could get on me and Voch yesterday about the orange, but you can't get me with the sky blue. No, sir. Not gonna let you do it. Won't do it. Let's see here. Am I capping for Michael Gallup pre-ACL? I feel you, 6081 boy. All right, 832. What you got for us? What it is, what it do?
Hey, man, good morning, man. Hey, man, it's too early to be beating up on people like this, man.
But I didn't know. I just I had look, Mr. Amos. He was beating up Michael Gallup, and I felt like I had to throw the goddamn towel. Wait a minute now. Let me come to his defense here.
I get you, man. Hey, Michael Gallup didn't have a good year, but he was hurt. He was hurt. He was hurt. And Michael Gallup was proven to be a productive player. If he's playing number 2 for you and you got a legitimate one, Michael Gallup at least your word. Yeah. This offense was real static, and we saw a lot of that come to fruition last year. You had too many guys that could only do one thing for you, and it's kind of remnants of what it was when Jason Garrett was here. One guy goes down, the whole offense goes to hell, right? So leave Michael Gallup alone. He's all right. He's at least their word. My thing is with this whole Cavante Turpin argument and the little running back, that I hate to, is Deuce Vaughn. My whole thing with that is, man, one, let them have that out in camp. That's a camp issue. If Turpin is going to be anything other than a kick returner, then he's going to have to we'll find that out in camp. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that.
So you said if he's gonna be more than a kick returner, we'll find out in camp.
Well, no, we'll find out if he can do more than return kicks. We'll find out in camp because he's going to get an opportunity, a small one maybe. But if he's going to be more than a kick returner, Cavante Turpin's going to be a receiver or some guy that can contribute on the offense. We'll find out in camp because one thing the coaching staff is about now is versatility with the players, not position flex, not specialists. Guys that can do more than one thing. And to that point, I'm not a draft guy like you guys are, like you and Bob and some other guys are. I'm not that guy. But from what I've seen and what I've heard about the Deuce Vaughn pick, he's more going to be insurance against Tony Pollard leaving. He's a smaller Tony Pollard to me. And if he's got half the ability that he's shown in college, if he can do half of what he did in college, in the pros this rookie year, if he gets a chance to do that, it would be a lot easier to move on from Tony Pollard because Pollard's going to have a good year too, and somebody's going to offer him a lot of money. And if the organization, the coaches looking like they're not, I don't know if they're not valuing the running back position, but they certainly don't have a problem with it being committed. And they're not going to invest a lot of money in that when they can get productivity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But hey, man, keep that left hand up, man, when you're swinging like that.
Yeah, I ain't trying to catch no body shot either, though. I got to make sure I don't get Davis. But hey, dog, or Garcia.
Give him that work, man. I'm gonna let you go. I know you're trying to get out of here. Give him that work, guy, and I appreciate it.
My God,
thanks.
Salute. Look, I don't mean to be pre-ACL Michael Gallup defense attorney. I'm not really trying to be that, but now you got Toxic out here wilding too, calling this man Peyton Hillis. Y'all disrespectful. Y'all are disrespectful to pre-ACL Michael Gallup. Y'all are disrespectful to pre-ACL Michael Gallup. That's a damn shame. That's a damn. You know, I usually do this drop.
That's enough damn salt there, Willie.
No, ain't enough salt. Pre-Michael Gallup defense attorney, I ain't got no problem. Pre-ACL. Post-ACL injury, Michael Gallup, he might have to hit up the Cochran firm, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying, you know. He might got to hit up my guy Brian and Larry because I don't got a defense for him on that one. Since 05, my guys Brian and Larry down at the Cochran firm been holding it down, serving the DFW area community, handling the most challenging civil cases, and they're handled on a contingent fee basis. Meaning if there's no financial recovery, they charge no fee. All right, we couldn't get Brian on today to let you know that Cochran cares, but I'll tell you that Cochran cares. And if you want to find out more, hit them up at 1-800-THE-FIRM or schedule your free consultation today at CochranTexas.com. Y'all some wild people in this chat, man. Y'all wild. Toxic called that man Peyton Hillis. Yo. What are we doing? What's good, Juan?
What's going on, Will? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fantastic, bro. How you doing?
Good Friday to you, bro. Man, I'm listening in, and you're right. You came to the defense of Michael Gallup, and well deserved because
pre-ACL, like we got to emphasize that one.
Context, like you guys always say, you and Vosh, we got to give it context, right? He was drafted as a third round pick.
They care about one-liners.
Facts. He was drafted in the third round, and Buddy got on here talking about, I'm waiting for him to come on as a number one receiver. I don't know no number one receiver, and if there is, it's very rare when you have a number one receiver that's drafted in the third round.
He wasn't drafted to be a number one receiver.
That's what I'm saying. Those expectations were already unreal. And his first year, he had 33 catches, 507 yards. His second year, 66 catches, 1,107 yards, and 6 touchdowns. His 2020 year, when he was the third receiver, he had 59 catches, 843 yards as the number 3 option behind him.
With who throwing him the rock half the day? Most of the season, by the way. Go ahead, tell him that.
No, I'm with you. It was Amari Cooper and
No. It was Andy Dalton, Ben DiNucci, and Garrett Gilbert throwing him the ball for most of that season, by the way.
You don't even have to go there. You and I know what it is, right? But the production is great from a back end to a third option.
Come on, man.
And then one happens. Obviously, we know what happened there. He got hurt, and then last year he tried to come back from the ACL too early. Wasn't ever confident, and that showed clearly. I ain't making excuses for the guys, but let's keep it a being, like you say, right? I think the guy deserves at least some time to come back. You know, he was trying to push through it. So I'm expecting good things this year from Michael Gallup, to be honest. I think Dak trusts him in the clutch moments. He makes big catches. I like Michael Gallup a lot. So shout out to Buddy, expecting for him to get a number one receiver in Gallup, but he's just gonna keep on waiting. It's all good. And just my last thing, Will, on the Kevontae Turpin. There's 2 players on the Cowboys. You know they love flexibility. There's 2 players on the Cowboys that only play one position. Do you know who those players are?
Who that?
That's Jonathan Hankins, who plays DT. Okay. Never moves, never does anything. We know what he is. And Kevontae Turpin. He doesn't offer anything on offense. And I say that they've ran him on a couple double reverses, those end arounds, but did nothing. He literally just kick returns and punt returns. And I'm looking at the numbers, bro, and I'm astonished that he's not even in the top 10 in kick return yards, not even in the top 10 in punt return yards.
That's what I was trying to say. When he was
average or kick return average. And we all know we didn't even have to look at the touchdowns because the boy is so immune to touchdowns. It's like, you can't even dodge a punter? Come on, bro. And we want him to run stuff on offense. If you can't dodge a punter, you sure ain't dodging no defender on the defensive field. Come on, man.
I mean,
that's just the being.
That's all I'm saying is that I think it's fair to want more from him if he's only going to do that. That's basically what I'm saying. Now, if he's going to be an offensive guy, like he's going to be a role player on offense, then you live what you can get from a special team standpoint. Very much like Tony Pollard a couple years ago. Tony Pollard, he ran a kick return, but nobody was like, oh, Tony Pollard got to be Devin Hester, because Tony Pollard was still giving you offensive production. But if he ain't going to give you offensive production, if he ain't going to be a guy that's gunning, then damn it, you better be returning for touchdowns or flipping the damn field to the goal line or some shit every other game. I ain't going to be unrealistic, but he can't just be a guy that's once every 5 games is going to return it to the 35-yard line. Like, I'm sorry. No.
Yeah. No, you're right, because they can take him out of any game by punting away and kicking away from him. And that literally diminishes his role.
Great point.
That diminishes his point and diminishes his value. You're on the 53-man roster. On the active 49 or 48, you have to contribute to the game. If you're not contributing, you shouldn't be out there, right? And if you're not going to be contributing either as a gunner or making tackles, if you're not returning kicks, I don't see the purpose and the value of you being on the active roster, let alone the whole roster. And when the moment got big, again in the playoffs, he almost muffed the game away twice. You brought that up earlier. It's like, you can't have that. If that's the one role that you're special in, how are you going to be muffing punts in a playoff game? I just don't understand that. And people are like, oh, well, let's use them in packages. Who you taking touches away from? Tony Pollard? CeeDee Lamb?
Yeah, he muffed 2 punts that cost the Cowboys towards the end of the season last year. I know coaches that would have benched his ass or cut him.
Bro, and don't even know the ones he almost muffed. Remember, he had a couple like bobbles and he held on to them. So those didn't go against him. But looking as a fan, you're on the edge of your seat. You're like, oh, here we go again. Here we go again. So, I mean, a shout out to him. Great story, but we have to remove emotion away from it. Like, if he's producing, he's producing. And if he's not, he's not. If you brought him to return kicks, you literally made a Pro Bowl off a free season.
I'm back in my fighting mode. I gotta go in these comments and fight, because if you want to stay on here, you can, because you brought up the Gallup thing, and Toxic, you ain't being fair. Toxic, you keep talking about Michael Gallup. He can't live up to the. I ain't talking about that. Listen, I'm not going to fight you if you got an issue with Michael Gallup right now because of the contract and the injuries. That ain't what we talking about, man. But if you're going to be so damn blind to look at, as you very well put there, Juan, about being a 3rd-round wide receiver, and look at his production over his first 3 years and talk about he ain't live up to this or that. Come on, what are we talking about? You said it, 500 yards, 2 touchdowns his rookie year with a quarterback that was still figuring it out, behind a bunch of bum receivers, and he couldn't get his shot until towards the end, and he was one of your best playoff receivers as a rookie. 2nd year, you want to talk about an outlier or whatever. He was the number 2 receiver. He put up number 2 receiver numbers, really good numbers. 3rd year as a number 3 receiver, 800 yards, 5 tutties with backup quarterbacks all damn year. That's pre-ACL Michael Gallup. How was that even an argument for a 3rd wide receiver who was a number 2 or 3 wide receiver? What are we talking about? You damn Skippy, I'm coming to his defense. What are we talking about?
Prisoner of the
and
moment.
Hold on, one more time. One more. God damn it, he was your most clutch receiver too.
Facts. Him and Cedric were the most clutch receivers in the last 4 or 5 years for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not sure why even people forget that.
Because somebody said in there, they're prisoners of the moment. They ain't listening either, because I'm not talking about Michael Gallup but the ACL. So there it is.
I don't understand why they keep expecting him to produce like top end number 2 and top end number 1. He was never expected to be that. Like, the people, when Cowboys draft players, they think, like, that's why a lot of people don't like the Schoonmaker pick. They're expecting him to be a top 5 tight end in the league already. It's like, bro, his purpose isn't for that. Like, his purpose is to block, and eventually, hopefully, his potential he can reach to become a receiver. But back to Gallup, it's just like, you got to remember where they're drafting these kids and what the plan is, and try to listen to the interviews when they talk to these coaches, as opposed to just looking at the stat sheet and be like, he didn't do anything. It's like, all right, well, if he didn't do anything, what are we doing with Devontae Turpin? I'm just saying, bro. Just to end with this, bro, I might have an extra ticket next Thursday for the Stars game, so let me know if you try to rock with me.
Oh, next Thursday? You got my number, man.
Next Thursday.
Hit me up. You know I've been trying to get to the damn Stars game.
It's funny because my wife told me, she's like, I'm not going to be able to go, babe. She was just like, you might want to ask somebody else. And boom, immediately I thought of you. I was like, oh, I know he's been trying to go to a game. And I'm not the biggest hockey fan, but we went last week to catch a Stars playoffs. It was more lit than a Cowboys game. I can't lie.
That's what I heard. Look, I'm all about atmosphere. I know nothing about hockey. Funny, I used to follow it on Sports Center, but I don't know the nuances of hockey.
Real life, it's a close concert.
Yeah. I want to go for the atmosphere and just I'm in Dallas now. There's a whole bunch of professional teams. I want to hit every single last one of them. I've been to not everyone. I've been to 2. Obviously, Cowboys and the Mavericks, but I haven't did Dallas Stars. And I've been to Globe Life, but I haven't seen an actual MLB game. So those are on my to-do list.
I'll let you know. I should find out tomorrow, but I got you on the ticket. I'll shoot it over to you. We can go rock again next Thursday.
Let me know, brother.
I already know, and thank you for the nostalgic moment. You said the Nation of Domination, bro. You took me back to the 90s.
Yeah.
You took me back to I remember, like, me and my brother be watching Raw, and then right when it's ending, it's like La Femme Nikita comes up.
Yeah, La Femme Nikita, or if you wake up, what's the other one? Not Conan,
but
La
Femme Nikita, if you don't know La Femme Nikita, you didn't have a childhood.
Yeah.
Fact.
Yeah, and the other one was if you fell asleep because I'm a Laker fan, so if you fell asleep to a Laker game, you woke up to what was the witch show that was on TNT all day. It's still on TNT right now.
Bro, I wasn't even trying to think of the Lakers today. That hurt so hard yesterday.
It's cool. It's cool. We snuck one. We snuck one.
I got all the homies back in California texting me like, "How them Lakers look?" I ain't trying to deal with that right now, man.
Look, we got home court now. It's all good.
I'm gonna text you.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks
Salute.
for taking my call, brother. I'm gonna get you in that, and we'll get that Stars game.
All right, man. Charmed.
All right, brother.
Salute to Juan, man. Charmed is the one I'm talking about. You fall asleep to ESPN or TNT. Not ESPN, really. It's TNT. You fall asleep to the post-game show, wake up, and boom, Charmed is on your TV. Ain't watched a full episode of Charmed in my life, but I can give you little tidbits of it because of that. All right, this one a little longer than I thought today because we had some fantastic discussions. Really about, I might retitle this thing, Michael Gallup, pre-ACL Michael Gallup, and Kevontae Turpin. I had fun with it though. Appreciate y'all, man. If y'all enjoyed the discussions, go ahead. Hit that like button. Yeah, Angry Sky came out a little bit. Trying to suppress that. If you're new and you're like, what is this craziness that's going on in this chat? Let me get in here and let me shit on you got to be a subscriber, so you can't just do it. If you want to drop some super chats, I think you got to be a subscriber as well because you got to comment. So with that said, let's go ahead and read some of these super chats.
Super chat
from today's show. Face the Music dropped a couple. He said Drummond 6'2", 220 offers return ability. And then he also mentioned Dontario Drummond competing with Tobert Fehoko for the 4 or 5 spot. Look, Face the Music, you can include every single last receiver on this roster after the top 3 competing. I think that's how it is. You got your top 3 guys and everybody else is competing. So let's just take last year's conversation, right? Last year was, hey, man, you got CeeDee Lamb. Everybody else is competing. This year is you got 3. So you had a way better spot. And then everybody else is competing.
Super chat.
Towboat dropped a couple and said, plus that DX intro. Are you ready? Come on, man. I mean, look, the DS intro. But I mean, when you hear this. I ain't gonna hold you. It's kind of hard to not, but I'm gonna be real with you. So the NWO black and white intro was great, but Hollywood Hogan's intro is better. When you hear that Jimi Hendrix, come on, man, you can't beat that one. And in the black and white, he come out with the bell spray. It is better than the NWO. It's just that the NWO is iconic because it's the NWO. But if we're talking themes, I actually got it ranked backwards. I go Hollywood Hogan, NWO, then DX. And I love DX if we talk about themes, but that's nonetheless. I mean, Harlem Heat too. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you. Come on, man. I can do this all day. I've done top 10 themes, top 10 factions, top 10 tag teams. I did a top 10 WWE Attitude Era superstars. That was fun. Do this all day, man. Towboat dropped another one and says, Sky, I have my Dynasty League draft this Sunday. What would your top 5 offensive rookies you would try to snag? Have a great vacation, man. Much love. I'm not going to lie to you. I got out of the Dynasty mode 2 years ago. It was too much, man. The group I was in, salute to them. I got too busy once I started doing this full time, and I just couldn't do it anymore. So I can't give you a quality take on that, but I'm sure some people in here can. I know Alpha Mason. I know. I definitely got. I want a partner though, and I know me and Vach talked about it. But if I remember, Vach, he was mostly in the WCW. I was back and forth with a lot of them. I got really strong opinions on both. But I want a partner if I do this wrestling podcast. Black Lion drop one. Where we at here?
Super chat.
The other day I said Jalen was going to ball. I meant Tolbert, not Brooks. Gotcha. And Deuce. Oh, I remember that. I remember that, Black Line. And Deuce's quickness, cuts, and stop and go was second to none in the draft. Hey, look, Deuce might have not been the best running back in the draft, but you're right. It was hard to find too many dudes that had that type of quickness and cut ability. Elusiveness, I think, Bijan was right up there. And Dwayne McBride, technically from a statistical standpoint, was right up there too. But he has a very special skill set for sure. Jay SoCal.
Super chat.
He dropped one and said, get rid of Ronald Jones, bring Zeke back. Zeke is better for team chemistry. That might be a conversation too. You heard Jerry Jones say, we're not closing the door on Ezekiel Elliott. He definitely fits team chemistry. I'm worried about team politics. That's all. And we just got 2 late ones. My guy, B Bird.
Super chat.
I know you working, bro. And I know when B Bird call in, that's when you know things are changing. The winds are changing in regards to what part of the offseason we're in. So salute the original, I don't watch it, the original bro, but the original OG B Bird. He said, just checking in. You still live. I'm still live. I said it was going to be a short show, but I had a lot of fun today talking wrestling. Me and Mr. Famous Amos going at it with the chat. It was fun. I had fun today. And then Pesky dropped one. Salute to Pesky. He called in for the first time today. Had some issues with the audio. I'm calling again, Pesky, and we'll figure it out.
Super chat.
He said, do you think they'd actually have a real open competition? I think Gallup is third no matter what, for example, and Beast Mode blocked me. Well, we ain't going to read all that now, Pesky. We ain't got to go that far. But we'll talk about the other part. Do I think there will be an open competition for the third receiver? No. Let me stop. Open competition, no. If a dude elevates himself and they have that conversation of, hey, just don't name. Jalen Tolbert is going bonkers. Put him out there for Michael Gallup. Let me see something real quick. But right now, I think your top 3 is solidified. I think you're competing for 4, 5, and 6. I mean, TC915, Stone Cold's intro. It might be the greatest immediate impact of all time. When you hear the glass break, that's it. Hairs were rising on my arms. I lie to you not. Now I was I had a lot of fun juice going on at WrestleMania, but you can ask Michelle. When that glass broke at AT&T Stadium, I almost ran into that goddamn ring. Straight up. Almost stunned my entire section. Straight up. Face the Music dropped one more.
Super chat.
He said, T.Y., number 4 receiver to start the season. So T.Y. Hilton is this is an interesting veteran potential get here because he ain't coming to nobody's camp to start the season. I think T.Y. going to do what he did last year. I'm a veteran. Let's play the water, see what happens here. Injuries, people not playing well. And if Tolbert don't step up, Simi don't step up, Turpin's not an option offensively, Cropper, Brooks, Dontario Drummond, you name them all. I'm calling T.Y. Hilton. And I'm saying, look, I know wide receiver 4 is not really in your will. Be like, you a guy that got to play, don't want to play. I'm going to call him. Only drawback is he ain't going to play special teams. And we just talked about 4, 5, 6 kind of got to play special teams. So But I call him. It's time to play the game. Yeah. That go hard too. Woo. Good stuff today. Somebody dropped Chris Jericho, greatest debut of all time. Yes. In the WWE. One of. I'm gonna say that. Kane's debut was lit. Because of the build up too. But Jericho was already established on WCW. We had no idea what this damn countdown thing was. If y'all remember back then, we thought the world was ending, and they played into that. And when that break the walls down and he comes out and him and Rock go back and forth, two of the best all time on the mic, legendary. You think Undertaker had the best, debut? That's like, 91, 92? I was obviously a kid at the time, but I watched a lot of old school wrestling. I don't know if I go the best debut. He might have had the best. There was actually and look, if you're here for the football conversation, that's probably about done now. Appreciate y'all. But they did a ranking of greatest first years. Taker, Kurt Angle, forget what the third one was, and the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. Taker is a very underrated year one because you didn't really see guys like that winning the title that damn early back at that point in time. And he won the title mad early. So from a year one, Taker up there. All right. That's enough wrestling. That's enough goddamn salt there, Willie. If y'all enjoyed today's show, once again, I know I already said it, but please hit the like button, subscribe, tune in to all things. Hit that bell too. We drop a lot of videos as well. No Mauricio show, no Vosh Lombardi show. Vosh might do some solo stuff though, I think he said, or Twitch or whatnot, Patreon. So make sure y'all check in with Vosh and support all of our fantastic content creators and our writers as well on A to Z Sports Dallas.com. What you know about me, Mark? Man, I love y'all. I didn't know y'all was this into wrestling. Now we can really y'all motivate me to get this thing done for real. With that said, I'm gonna go ahead and press this button. Bro. Michael H., you have no idea, man. You have no idea. I know Michelle get tired of it. I'll watch some old stuff downstairs on the network. Hey, man, let me tell you about it. She's go ahead and tell me, man. Go ahead and tell me. I need to get it out. I love y'all. We out of here. Have a good Friday. Peace. The worst heavyweight is, and I wasn't even watching at the time, but the great Khali. Like, what are we doing? Why you putting the belt on that guy? The New Age Outlaws got the best mic intro though of all time.
Bomb Squad!